Hi, I'm Brien Lundin of Gold Newsletter, and I am here at the Metals Investor Forum in beautiful Vancouver. And the metals markets are rocking higher and soaring higher right now. The crowd at this event is very excited, smiles everywhere, and everything seems to be working. I have the pleasure to talk to you today about a gold exploration company that I am personally a shareholder of, but has been doing very well for our readers in Gold Newsletter, and that's Western Exploration. And we have with us Darcy Marud, who is the president, CEO, director, driving force behind Western. And Darcy, explain for our audience here the two-pronged approach you have for developing your projects in Nevada.
Yeah, I'd love to do that, Brian. So thank you for the introduction. So Western Exploration, we have one project called Aura, but it's really two projects in one. On one side, we have an oxide at surface open pittable deposit, and we're currently starting permitting on that with the U.S. Forest Service in Nevada. And we'll be coming to the market here in the near term in the next week or so with the development plan that project has to the end of 2027.
And we say development toward production.
Development towards production. And what we've started doing is the baseline studies, the detailed engineering to deliver a mine plan of operations to the Forest Service by the middle of 2026 and continue that work until we deliver the NEPA environmental studies in the middle of 2027, and that'll lead to the official permitting of the project.
So just to remind our audience, it is 2026 right now. So
yeah,
we're talking
yes.
months away. Okay.
Yes, exactly
Gotcha.
right. So we started that actually by delivering a notice of intent to the Forest Service in December of 2025, which they've accepted, which now sets that permitting path going forward. So we're working towards that. And then on the other prong, we've got a very high-grade epithermal discovery called Gravel Creek. Last year, we increased that resource by about 56% for gold and 83% for silver. So that resource is now 850,000 ounces of gold and 13.5 million ounces of silver. So very significant increase in both metals. And that was done through an exploration program in 2023 that discovered the Jarbidge zone. And in 2024, we drilled that out, and we were able to add that resource in 18 months at about $25 per ounce discovery cost.
Really high grade, too.
Very high grade. Yeah. So it significantly increased not only the grade of the Gravel Creek deposit, but also the ounces by about 250,000
And this
ounces.
you envision will be an underground operation eventually?
We envision that Gravel Creek will most definitely be an underground.
Yeah.
The main Gravel Creek deposit is about 20 meters true width. And these new vein zones are about 2 meters true width, but everything is developed to a minimum mine resource of 4 meters. Okay. So even this new discovery is 4 meter minimum width, but we still added 250,000 ounces of gold and silver there. So,
and the geometry is conducive to underground exploitation?
Yeah, they're both. Okay. You know, the Gravel Creek deposit itself is high angle structure. The Jarbidge are a little shallower, about 60 degrees, but in very competent rock. So the vision for Gravel Creek going forward would be like a 1,500 to 2,000 ton per day underground operation, flotation concentration that could do maybe 100 to 150,000 ounces a year. That's our vision for Gravel Creek. What we're doing now is the drilling to expand that resource to a minimum of 1.5 million ounces of gold and 30 million ounces of silver, which would be basically doubling what we have right now.
Now, you have to be pretty confident. I mean, you put that in your presentations. You're very confident of those goals.
Yeah, and the reason we're confident is those deposits remain open in every direction. And if we look back at the past from 2023 when we discovered the Jarbidge zone, within 18 months, we added 250,000 ounces to that resource, you know, in that short amount of time. So the fact that everything's open and the fact that we were able to do that, we think that that going forward demonstrates the ability to continue to do that.
I would guess not only that they're open, but you have an understanding of the structures involved in orientation and the like, and you're progressing along those?
That's correct. A lot of the work we did in our most recent technical report in 2025 was really understanding the geometry of the mineralization, the ore control so that you get more predictability in the drilling. And I think the Jarbidge zone that we discovered in 2023 is a classic example of that, where we now understand how it fits together with Gravel Creek and opens up that potential even further.
So I would think that 1.5 million ounces, and correct me if I'm wrong, of high grade in Nevada would be worth considerably more than what your current market valuation is.
That's our hope. I mean, I think really what we need to do to get that market valuation up is demonstrate our ability to execute.
Yeah.
I think everybody has to do that.
Yeah.
You know, let's say talk is cheap. It's execution that comes. And I think that's where we need to execute this year, is on that ability to continue to demonstrate that growth at Gravel Creek,
Yeah.
continue the de-risking pattern that we have at Dobie George. And I think if we're successful doing that, I think then we should get a little bit more credibility in the share price. Importantly, on that note, we just completed a financing for 9 million Canadian dollars.
Yeah.
That was oversubscribed. And that allows us now to start that execution on that de-risking of Dobie George through that permitting process. It's fully funded now.
Yeah.
And then Gravel Creek certainly will look to start that drilling in about June and continue to do that right through to 2027.
And my impression has been throughout your history, and perhaps because I was one of the people that put money into the company, that you are a smart money play. You're attracting some really smart investors who understand the value, who understand the plan, in the geology. But I guess you're happy with who you got into this financing?
We are. It was mostly institutional this last round. Our cornerstone shareholder or investor that came into it was Libra.
Okay.
With Ranjan. And so he's, you know, somebody that knows the people in our company very well from our days at Argonaut and our days at Meridian. But it's those kind of investors that I think are there for the long term to see this path forward. So I think we've been able to demonstrate that there is a path forward here and that we're starting to execute on it. But again, execution is the name of the game here.
Which you've done in previous iterations and previous companies. And
yeah, I think our team has been involved in discoveries in the past, whether it be El Peñon in Chile, whether it be Mercedes in Mexico that we were involved with before Meridian was purchased by Yamana, and even the Malartic discovery with Agnico and Yamana when we were in that joint venture. Mark Hawksworth, who's our VP of Exploration, was involved in that discovery. But more importantly, we've been involved from the discovery through the development right into the mine process.
yeah.
So our vision is not how you expand a deposit, but how you expand a deposit and the knowledge of that deposit through to development and production.
And I would think with a market awareness, so how do you do that with minimal dilution?
Well, and I think that's the key.
That's the two-pronged strategy. Right?
That's the two-pronged strategy, right? Exactly right. And I think we've always focused on delivering shareholder value without minimizing dilution, and, maximizing benefit. And we continue to do that. Right now, we've only got about 53 million shares in the market.
Really?
After this financing, it'll be probably about 64 million. So it's still a very tightly held structure. So it's got a lot of room to potentially use equity going forward. But I think really what we need to do with this latest financing is execute on that plan for Dobie George. We're on the path to do that and demonstrate that, Dobie George has the possibility of becoming, a mining operation by as early as 2028.
And the idea there is to use the proceeds from that in this kind of a gold environment to fund the exploration and the development of Gravel Creek. And along the process, still drilling, because the market loves those drill holes.
Oh, yeah. No, and the higher the grade, the better.
And the higher the grade in Nevada, the better.
What we've always thought about with Dobie George, and the reason that we are pushing the PEA like we did and now the development of Dobie George, is if we can see Dobie George over the next 2 years being de-risked to the point of construction, by the time we're in production in Dobie George and generating cash flow, our Gravel Creek deposit should be ready for development.
Right.
So you can use cash flow from one to fund the other. So in the perfect world, that works. But you know how this industry works. There's a lot of opportunity to, for gold price to move up and for the markets to be good. But also at the same time, things could deteriorate. So what we're going to try to do is execute as fast as we can and eliminate that development risk.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about any deterioration here.
No, there's no deterioration.
Let's be happy while we can.
Yeah.
But it is, in my mind, a great plan. It's why I'm a shareholder, because dilution really is the killer of junior companies, especially in development. The good thing about this kind of a market that we have is that a junior who has a good project like yours can actually develop it themselves. You can find the money, you can find there's a lot of money out there, but you can find the money at the right terms to progress
At
things.
the right terms and the right money. The people
Yeah.
that support your vision of what you're trying to do, I think, is very important as well, like you have done with us.
Well, I appreciate that, Matt. I'm excited for the fact that you're going to keep drilling even as you're developing. So that's, high grade in Nevada, that always attracts the market's attention. So I think you will in the months ahead. So good luck, and make me an even happier shareholder.
We're working as hard as we can, Brian. Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, Darcy. Thank you so much.